All right, to all of my parents out here listening, I want to take a moment to talk about what do you support? What would you choose for your child? Their passion or a job that actually pays money? That we know right out the bat pays money. As soon as you get out of college, hopefully, I done heard the story about MBAs, unemployment, is up 23% for that. If you're going to school for an MBA, Harvard Business School, Wharton, people who are getting MBAs, they aren't getting hired like they used to. And so Times of India reported that. So if you're out here, your child is pursuing an MBA or thinking about it, that job market is not doing too well. Like I said, the unemployment is up 23%. And in the Times of India article, they talked about how companies were looking for, I guess, more experience over MBAs. But you got to get experience by actually getting hired. So that's always been a catch 22 with these corporate jobs and things like that. But going back to your child's passion versus what you feel will actually make money, not that their passion couldn't, but some of these passion jobs will be, artsy kind of. I want to be a sculptor, a painter. I want to direct films. I want to write. I want to act. I want to play sports, football, basketball, soccer, things like that. Versus where everybody always gravitates towards STEM, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, something in one of those fields, or a lawyer, things like that. Stuff where people feel, even though, you want to watch the student loan situation, you come out in debt, parents feel okay, especially if parents paying out of pocket so they son or daughter don't come out with any student loan debt. Hey, I want you going for a degree that is going to pay dividends right away. All of this, I want to write movie scripts or TV scripts, and you sitting around waiting for somebody to buy your script while you are driving Uber or Lyft or something like that. How do you parents feel about that? Because there's so many people out here that may be a doctor, maybe a lawyer, but that's not what they chose. They're that because mom and dad wanted them to be that. And so as time goes on, that might mess with their mental health. Like, I'm doing this and this was never my choice. I'm just trying to make my parents happy. But do you all actually care about that? Maybe their mental health isn't good, but they got physical money. The bank account shows. Yet your son and daughter is miserable every day at the office because they're doing what you want to do, not what they want to do. So passion versus the job that you feel is going to pay more money right away so they can establish credit, save, probably not be in your pockets, mom and dad. But what are we giving up, and does that hurt the relationship between child and parent when the child goes against or goes away from what they actually want to do for a living just to please you, mom and dad? What does that do? And to any parents and adult children who are listening, did you all go down that path, and do you regret it? Are there any adult people listening who went to a career path that their mom and dad said, hey, this will be lucrative, this will make sure you have money in the bank, this will secure you? And parents, on the flip side, do you have a child that now resents you or are upset because they didn't follow their passion and they went into accounting or being a doctor because as the parents you said, hey, this will make sure your future is well put together? And I understand the parents mean well when they say, you need to go for something that actually pays money. And like I say, STEM is something that a lot of parents point their children in that direction. But the passion they want to do photography, things like that. They want to write stuff that they call artsy, things like that. But that's their passion. They want to design stuff like that. They're creative. All that type of thing. They want to do their own films. Should we be taking our children away from that? And are you willing to risk your child resenting you off of you trying to put them towards, a career path that's secure versus something where, it might not pay right away. And they may be doing other odd jobs just to make ends meet. And if so, if you do want your child pushed more in the direction of one of the STEM fields, and again, we shouldn't be forcing, but is there a way at 3, 4, 5 years old where you can start early with your son or your daughter to try and grow that, cultivate an interest in that, so now that's their passion versus they just, being children, wild imagination, and they see themselves doing something that's not behind a desk all day, typing away and things like that, you know, especially with Generation Z, and then you got Generation Alpha coming after them. I think Alpha, they were born in 2013. They start there, and I think Generation Z is 1998 to 2012. Those are the numbers, those are the years. And you got people in these generations that don't want to work corporate America 40 years and then retire. That's one thing. And then that's kind of what you penciling your child into when you say go towards STEM and things like that. And yeah, you get medical benefits and dental, vision, even though you can, pay those individually without a corporate employer doing that. If that's, you independent, you doing your own thing. But what do we lose, in our relationships with the parents and the children when the child goes away from their passion and just does what you feel will make mom and dad proud? And so, you're not doing you're doing your parents. And then that can lead to all other types of mental things being upside down because you weren't true to yourself. But again, parents, if you want your child to focus more on that corporate pathway and being in that boardroom and being an accountant or something that requires, an advanced degree, did you do anything? Or if you got a younger child now, are you doing anything right now to kind of grow that to where, your child would naturally want to choose that and that becomes their passion? Because it can be. Being a lawyer, being one of these jobs behind the desk can be someone's passion, but what are you doing as parents to push them in that direction? Well, not push, I don't want to use that word, but your child is going to take an interest in what they take an interest in. You can, of course, suggest things, certain career pathways, look at certain characteristics with your child. If they like to really debate, argue, what best suits that. Some children want to debate and argue, but they don't want to be lawyers. They just want to act like one. They want to be a lawyer on TV or on the big screen at the theater. So you have to take that into consideration. And I know on another flip side, I know a mother whose son he's in college, and this was 2023. And he came to her. He had already been enrolled. They've been paying tuition. And he told his mom, man, I want to help people. And I'm assuming she didn't elaborate. That help meant maybe Peace Corps, FEMA, working for things like that. Maybe the Red Cross, American Red Cross, something where you make a big difference. And she told her son, she said, you didn't need to go to college to do that. I wish you would have said this before we spent, this money on this tuition. And so, I know parents probably want to avoid that. It may be unavoidable if, especially, like I say, with Generation Z, and then once Generation Alpha gets old enough to go to college, they're not old enough yet. They, just so you save your own money, because we can't force, I think these generations will be more likely to go towards their passion. And if you do try and put them in this university and say, hey, you're going to be a registered nurse or something like that, you'll mess around and waste your money, mom and dad, because Generation Z, and we'll see about Generation Alpha, but Generation Z is built different. My generation of millennials, 1981 to 1997, that's the last generation that you're going to see that is just going to go towards the STEM fields or things like that. all, even if it's because their parents kind of put it in their head, hey, this will actually allow you to make money once you graduate, and you can establish something, start building your nest egg, and you can move out, things like that. The millennial generation, mine, I think, is the last one that's going to go that route. At this point now, I mean, you'll still have Generation Z people who may go corporate. I'm not saying anyone won't follow that career path at all, but you're about to see more creatives, especially once Generation Alpha gets old enough. They're only making 12, the oldest of them this year. So, they're not even in high school yet, but you're going to see the change, especially like with the information out about MBAs, and unemployment is up 23%. They're not hiring MBAs like they used to. Not that that's the degree or that's something that your child wants to get, but just we have to keep an eye out. You see all the job layoffs, even though you're pushing your child to go into this field for job security, whatever that means. I think artificial intelligence and machine learning, those are good to go in. But then we also get threatened by artificial intelligence. You see Amazon using robots in their warehouses. And so you only need a few people to do the maintenance. Everybody can go to school and learn AI and machine learning, but you don't need everybody to do the maintenance on the robots that are already, being used. So everybody can have the machine learning knowledge, but it just won't be enough positions to go around, because the whole part of AI doing things faster, more efficient, is also more cost effective. That just means saving money. So now the business has more profit, and businesses get more profit. One way is by not having to actually pay human beings. So that's something else to keep in mind. And so that's where the creatives come in terms of trying to find a different way. And that may be what your child's passion is. So again, to the parents, which do you all support? Your child's passion, or, like I said in the title, a job that actually pays money? Not that their passion can't, but you all know what I mean. The money may be more guaranteed going towards a STEM field. You get your direct deposit every 2 weeks, bi-weekly pay, or maybe every week, depending on the company. And again, I know mom and dad, you're doing it out of love for your child. You want them to be secure. You're not going to school getting some basket weaving degree that you can't get hired. But again, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, the creatives, they're not necessarily looking to get hired. At least not where they have a supervisor and do yearly reviews and then get a raise. They may work independently, where you request my services and then you pay me and then I'm on to the next, something like that. But I'm not tied to any company. They're their own corporation, for lack of a better word. The mindset is different in mom and dad, who may be probably at this point, if you got a Gen Zer, or if your child is Generation A. If your child is Generation Alpha, it's possible you're a millennial parent, you from my generation, possibly Gen X. If you got a Gen Zer, depending on where they're at, if they're a younger Gen Z, or you might be a millennial still, or you got a Gen X parent, which is the generation right before mine, the millennials. I don't know how many baby boomers. There may be a couple of baby boomers out there with some Gen Z children. That's more at the point where they're the grandchildren. I know my mother's grandchildren. She has 4. They're all Generation Z. She has no Gen Z children. She's got 2 millennials and a Gen Xer. And those are my 2 sisters. And so at this point, just the parents who are parenting these younger people, yeah, that's what you're going to have to deal with. And them just wanting to be more creative in terms of how they make money. Yeah, you want the ones that want to be influencers as well. You see, well, TikTok is, back up now, but people who are paying their bills off TikTok, just making videos to where they can, help people. And so they're looking at that as a means, as long as that doesn't get cut off. So we're going to have to really restructure and think out the box in terms of, parents and children before even high school. You really just need to sit down and just see what your son or your daughter is into. What are they passionate about? Can you grow that? So you all have a clear path once they hit 18 years old. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And also, when they first born, start putting money away for them. Put money away for them, possibly into the stock market. At this point, crypto as well. Dr. Boyce Watkins talks a lot about that. So by the time they're 18, they got decisions where, hey, I can go to this university, or I got money saved up from what mom and dad have been investing for me, and so that can go to start my own business if I just need startup money. So now they have options instead of just, okay, we're going to fill out this FAFSA or apply for scholarships, or mom and dad, if you can afford it, pay out of pocket. So I don't have student loans. With the FAFSA, you will have the student loans, but just so you can afford to go for the first 4 years. And then we're not even talking about graduate school or doctorate, but yeah, these things get expensive. And again, parents, I know you don't want that situation where your son or your daughter tells you after you've been paying tuition, especially if you've been paying tuition, hey, I want to do this, and this didn't even require going to the university. So I think parents have to do a better job of identifying their child's passion before high school. And just put different things in front of them and see what they gravitate towards. Don't force anything. And just see where it goes. And can this be monetized? What skill set are they growing as they are 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old that can be monetized? Can you see it? Can we start it now while they're still adolescents? Because the whole passion versus actual job that pays money, that could get real sticky. That could become a testy situation where it strains relationships between children and parents. It's parents that have gotten into whole arguments about when a child just makes a decision, hey, I'm not even going to college, or I'm dropping out of college, or hey, I want to go this direction. And mom and dad are saying, well, how are you going to make a living doing that? And so it's always an ongoing conversation with that. Passion versus what parents feel will, actually pay the bills. And parents, again, which one do you support your child in? Are you okay with your child being angry with you, resenting you as they go through their career because they're an accountant, because that's something mom and dad wanted? And mom and dad, are you doing what you want to do, or are you doing something that your parent wanted you to do? So that's a cycle that can be broken. I know a lot of parents are really, hand over fist about, career, money, and just saying, hey, look, you're not going to school for that. This is what pays. Let me show you the salaries on the internet. This is how much you can make if you go do this. This is where you started. This is where you can go. Because we live in a capitalist society and cost of living continues to go up. And we know wages don't keep up with the cost of living and the inflation that's currently in place. But we'll see if President Trump can get that down, and the Fed. But, things are still going to continue to cost. And I understand parents' concern. The job that actually pays some money over whatever your son or daughter is passionate about, and say, hey, look, I want to do something that deals with pictures and things like that. I get it. But, that's a tough conversation that has to be had between parents and their children. Because something has to give, and, they have to make money some way. But I challenge all parents, if you have a 2 or 3 or 4 year old now, please start putting money away for them. So when they're 18, hey, they can fund their passion if need be. Because people are going to do what they want. At the end of the day, I don't care who steps in or oversteps their boundaries. And if you're a parent that's paying out of pocket for college tuition, hey, just know that at any time that child can come home. Hey, look, I want to do this. The university, I don't really need that anymore. So you just made a donation to a university that doesn't need a donation. That's basically what you've done. You paid that tuition. Your child will not be getting a degree, and you just made a donation to that school. That's all you've done. So we need to be real careful in terms of where we send in our sons and our daughters. Look at the high school attributes and how they carry themselves there, and how they focus on the high school assignments to even get a better understanding if we should even be applying to a university. I mean, your teenager will show you as well. In the armed services, and I'm not even saying that. I don't know if any child's passion is necessarily going into the armed services, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, take your pick. When I'm talking more about passion, again, I'm talking more about going in the artsy direction, people who want to direct movies, people who want to write scripts, people who want to act, people who want to do sports, people who want to do music, people who want to do photography, people who want to be influencers and make money spreading information and pouring into people's lives on YouTube, people who want to do it on TikTok and use that to advertise their business, or use Instagram, things like that. Just really utilizing the internet and artificial intelligence to help, get more traction to what they're doing and get more eyeballs on what it is they're trying to put out here in the world. That's the whole creative side of it. Your child may be a good speaker. They can hold attention based on whatever the subject matter is, and they want to pursue that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go to college 4 years. That's their passion, and that's what makes them feel complete in what they're giving out, and not just doing something because this is what mom and dad wants me to do. Because I know a lot of that has gone on in the past, and a lot of children have probably really just been silent about it. They hold their tongue. And I'm in this, but this is never what I really wanted to do. I just knew my mom and my dad would be so happy when I said, I'm a doctor now, or I'm a police officer now, or, I'm a lawyer now. Things like that. Never really wanted to go into that corporate avenue, sitting behind the desk all day, things like that. So, that's just something to keep in mind for, all parents. Children, you keep it in mind as well. To the children who are now adults that are in a career that is making their parents happy, not you. It's not too late to switch out. I saw a YouTube video of a guy who left his corporate job to do truck driving. He got his CDL license. Took him 4 weeks to get the license, and now he's driving trucks. He likes it a lot better. He was in accounting. I think that's what he was in. He was in accounting, and he left that, and now he's truck driving. So whatever makes you happy, this just something to keep in mind. And I don't never want to turn anyone away from their passion. I understand bills have to get paid, and I just think it's something that again, with costs always being one of the number one factors in terms of career and how do we afford this. Again, parents, please start putting away money for your 2-year-old now. They should have a nice nest egg by the time they turn 18, and you all make sure you add to it. You don't dip into it. Don't do how the United States government does Social Security to your children's, we'll call it career fund, college savings fund, whatever they choose to do with it. And you make sure you teach them financial literacy as they get older. So once they turn 18 and the money is theirs, they don't blow it as well, That could be a whole 360 there, to where they just, spend the money frivolously and no good comes out of that. But yeah, I really want to see parents still, become more compassionate towards their child's passion. You see so many parents trying to deter them and say, and they mean well, I know, because they're saying, how is this going to pay the bills? And you let money drive, a wedge in between parents and children. And I know it can be tough because you waiting on them to finally break even with this, passionate job, and maybe they're doing something else. They're waiting tables until that job is allowing them to, take over their income and pay everything. And they may still be living at home with you, mom and dad, trying to save it. It's a lot. And you just looking at yourself in the mirror like, I don't understand why they just won't go for something that's corporate and safe and, it's guaranteed money, things like that. But honestly, that's not what passion is about. And if you a parent who is doing what you want to do, then I think you probably owe your children that same respect. And, just see what happens. Passion is passion, and job is job. And, I think obviously a lot of people rather do passion than jobs, things like that. And we just have to be careful in the direction that we'll be pushing our children into when it comes to career. And if you do push them into something that they don't want, but it'll be financially secure, parents, are you prepared to have a strained relationship with your child because they're doing what you want career-wise, not what they want? Life is too short to be living for someone else. It's actually too short to be living through someone else. But, you have people that's okay living through their own children, things like that. That's not fair to the child. So it's just something to think about when we're talking about passion making you money and monetizing that versus this safe STEM job, STEM, and you going into one of those categories just because, what you see out in the general public, and that's where everything's at now. This is what makes money. You see articles on it all the time. People having discussions about it just so you have something that you can actually fall back on, as they say. But times, continue to change. And, don't lose your creativity. That's one thing I'll tell everybody. If that's your passion, don't lose that. And that may be the shining light in all of this once you see the whole corporate structure start to change with layoffs and artificial intelligence, and your creativity being the wave and what's going to get you through. The paradigm, is shifting. Believe me, it is. And so don't throw away your passions, parents. Don't step on your child's dreams either. And let's see if we can meet somewhere in the middle to where your passion, as long as it has something of substance, forget the style, then you'll be able to make a living off of it. The finances will gravitate to you. So again, let me know what you all think in the comments. Parents, are you going through this right now, trying to find the next career move for your teenager? Has it already been done, and they're working in where you wanted them to go, but there's a feeling that, hey, this isn't them, and they're not really cool with continuing to do this long term, that lawyer, that doctor, or whatever you pushed them in? Is it the opposite, where your child is actually working in their passion and just trying to make it, and you just there supporting as a parent, hoping that it takes off for them? Where do you all stand? What's the current situation to all my parents out here? Or if you are, any adults out here who didn't follow their passion, and are you going to flip now? Are you working in a field that your mom and dad pushed you towards? Or are you working in your passion? I want to hear from both, parents and the children who are adults now. And, what industry are you in? Are you following your passion? We can't be afraid to open up and really just be ourselves and be who we are. I think that's how we find our passion as well, and we grow from that. So yeah, let me know. Put all of that down in the comments. You might find somebody that's thinking about going towards their passion and getting out of this field that just pays money so they're secure, and maybe their mom and dad really push them into that direction as well. Put that down in the comments. Comment below if you're thinking of making that change, that shift. This is the time to do it. Again, it's the year of completion, number 9 year, 2025. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. So this is the year to really complete everything. If you need to complete that so you can go towards your passion, by all means do it. Take that energy in the right direction. And again, let me know down in the comments what you all think. Your child's passion versus a job that actually pays money. Parents, which one do you support? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Facts of Feelings, that's all one word, no spaces. Put that in the YouTube search, Facts of Feelings, no spaces, and my channel comes right up. And again, take the time out to be creative and do it for you, not for anybody else, not even your parents. That's passion. I'm out.